Hello, today's topic is 2.1, Module 2. We're starting with reading and writing decimals. Today our learning objectives are to identify the place values on the decimal side and also to read and write decimals. So we're going to be reading and writing in words, and we're going to be reading words and writing in numerals. Decimals are all around us, especially when it comes to money, so we have some experience with how to make decimals. And when we look at this amount of money, we have a $5 bill, and then we've got some change. So we've got 2 quarters, 50 cents, and 3 nickels, which is another 15 cents. So we're going to have a total of 65 cents. On the decimal side, as we go to the right, the numbers become smaller. In fact, they become 10 times smaller. So this 6 here, this is starting in our first position called the tenths place. And this is different from the whole number side. On the whole number side, we started in the ones place. There is no such thing as a oneths place on the decimal side, so we actually begin at tenths. And then the next number is 10 times smaller. So the position of the 5 is in the hundredths place. So we use the TH. We're going to discover that we have the next position 10 times smaller than that, which is the thousandths, and then 10 times smaller than that, which is the 10,000ths. So the place values on the decimal side, they're similar to on the whole number side, but as we go out, we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. This place value chart in your module is really helpful. We see some differences between the whole number side and the decimal side. On the whole number side, we break our groupings into groups of 3, and that's how we read the number. So we can see that 518 is in the thousands period, so we read it as 518,000. And in the ones period, we read 304. So we have 518,304. Then we have a decimal. And the decimal, to know that it's a decimal when we're reading the numbers, we use the word and. But we don't read the decimal side in groupings of 3 like we do on the whole number side. What we do is we read the number similarly to the whole number side, but we only say the last place that it hits. So on this decimal side, we read these 3 digits together as 967, and then we say the word thousandths because the 7 is in the thousandths position. So this number read aloud is 518,304 and 967 thousandths. So reading decimals takes a little bit of time to get used to, because what you have to do is you have to memorize the place values. You can use your chart, but you have to go through and say to yourself, where am I at? Tenths, hundredths, thousands. I'm ending up in the thousandths place. And you also need to remember that and means the decimal. And you also need to remember how to read the whole number side. So there's a lot to know in just a number like this. 518,304 and 967 thousandths. Example 2, we're going to read the same way. We're going to read the whole number side and the decimal side. Let's look at the whole number side first. We see we have 65 in the thousands period, and we have 218 in the ones period. The decimal means we're going to say the word and then on our decimal side, we are ending in the 4th position. So we go through and we say, okay, this is the tenths, then the hundredths, then the thousandths, and last the 10,000ths. I need to read these 4 digits as though they're on the whole number side. So it's 3,479, but I read it in my last position for the naming of it, 10,000s. So let's put this all together. We have 65,000, comma, 218, and 3,400, and I can put a comma there actually, 3,479 10,000ths. So reading decimals is quite a bit of work. It's not easy. It depends on how long the numbers are too, but it's good practice for us to say and write numbers. So we're going to start with number 1. We have 32.06. So we're going to write it as we read it. 32. The decimal becomes the word and then we have 6, and we need to say the position of the 6. The first position is the tenths, the second position is the hundredths. So 32 and 6 hundredths. Remember, we need to use that THS on the end so that we know it's the decimal. Number 2, on our whole number side, we have 107. The decimal is and then we see we have 345. Let's look at where we're ending. Where does that 5 end up? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So now we can write it. 107 and 345. What position was that? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Number 3, we have nothing on the whole number side, so we don't have to say 0 and. We can just go right onto the decimal. We have 17, and the 7 is ending up in our tenths, hundredths position. So we simply say 17 hundredths. And because of the THS, now we're certain that this is on the decimal side of the line. For number 4 and 5, this time we're writing the numbers in numerals. So we're reading carefully. 807 and 1/10. Okay, let me write my whole numbers. 807 and is where the decimal point goes. 1/10. Well, I know that the tenths place is the first position, so I'm going to put a 1 right there. If they said 100th, I'd have to put a 0 in the tenths place and put the 1 in the hundredths place. So it's 807.1 and 1/10. Number 5, we have 9 and, so the and is coming right away. So we're going to have 9 and 584 10,000ths. Okay, I know 584, but I need to find the 10,000ths place. So this is where using lines can help you a lot. So I'm going to go through my place value. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So the 10,000ths is that fourth position, and I need to put the 584 to end there. So this means that I'm going to have to add a 0 in the tenths place. So to write that a little bit nicer, I'm going to have 9.0584, 9 and 584 10,000ths. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can give exercise 2.1 a try. paying special attention to your decimal point and finding your place value on the decimal side.